Hello, I'm Les Schmidt. Thank you for joining me here today. I felt inspired today to have sort of a fireside chat. Although there's no fireplace here, and I'm in my condo in southeast Florida. It's the middle of July, so but uh, but yeah, I felt inspired to just share a few thoughts that came up for me today as I was out walking my dog Chloe. On my job and throughout life, I interact with a lot of people. I'm a collision center manager in a busy dealership. And in fact, we have a multi operation, and I'm at all three of our shops. And I get to interact with a lot of people. I listen to a lot of people's stories. I observe a lot of people interact in their lives. Of course, I have employees and I have my social life and so on. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people struggling, a lot of people who are feeling stuck and frustrated, and that just bothers me. So I created my work, my process, my system, my uh, whatever I can offer to help other people like myself who have struggled, and especially people who've made mistakes in their life. Because if you're not making mistakes, you're not doing anything, and this is part of the problems. So many people are trying to be so careful, are trying to tiptoe through the tulips, stay within the lines. And the big problem, of course, is that we've been conditioned through our upbringing, to our limitations, to our smallness, and as the disappointments in life hit us, we all have our challenges, our struggles. That's what life is about. And so I named my work "Your Most Amazing Life." So um, the the idea of that is to have your most amazing life. And I feel like I've had a most amazing life and I'm still living it. And that doesn't mean that I didn't have struggles and challenges. I've had to start over financially a number of times. I've been divorced 3 times, I'm married 4 times. I've lost children, adult children, in very tragic ways. And just all the challenges. I've had health challenges when I was younger. But out of all of that, you engage in life. This is what life is all about. It's being in the moment, being present in the moment. And so, out of my faith healing church raisings, it was called the Truth. Actually, it was called Faith Tabernacle Congregation, but the pastors would refer to it as the Truth. They never called it Faith Tabernacle; they called it the Truth. So we were raised that this was the truth, and even though there was less than 1,000 people there, somehow we had the truth. And I evolved out of that. I had a breakdown when I was very young, 23, and I was able to let go of all my programming and conditioning, and then it became a matter of I saw money as the way to have what you want in life, to be able to take care of my family, to live my dreams. By the way, I just want to interrupt myself for just a moment. We have to learn to dream again. We've been dealing with the disappointments and the put downs for so long that most of us have lost our ability to dream, to engage our imagination, um, to ask ourselves and to interact with what it is in our heart, what it is we really, really, really would love to do. So that's part of what I inspire, that I teach. And again, I'm going to interrupt myself. I'm not some guru. I'm not out to save the world. I'm not on a soapbox to try to get people to see my point of view or have my belief system or any of that. But there are a lot of people who are open to support and help and ideas, and to be influenced and supported. And so the truth, so that leads me right back to, but the basis, the essence of my work is find your own truth. Now, if if I'm sharing something with you that and it resonates with you and you really feel it in your heart and say, "Wow, that's just right, what I wanted to hear right now," bingo, that's fine. But it has to become your truth. You have to own it. You have to process it. You have to decide for yourself, and you integrate it with everything else that's part of your belief system of what you want to create in your life. This is just good information and good examples that I'm sharing with you, and part of it's through my story and the story of other people as well. And so in my work, and so I decided to put this on the Patreon site. That's a good way that I can offer it for almost nothing to, and different levels of support, even up to the point of phone coaching on a monthly basis, because that's what I've reached a point in my life where, and this happened in the prison system. Yes, I experienced 6 years of federal prison and had to come out and start all over with nothing, less than nothing. And I had 4 young teenage daughters who came to live with me, and it was interesting. But that's life, you know. You know what? Yeah, I really had to get down and get it done. And I had taken what I learned, because in the prison system, I went for a deep dive search for what's really real and true. And a lot of it led me to reading books on philosophy and religion, self-help things, and all kinds of stories, successful people, love biographies. And out of that, I found some common things, well, common, but they're not common threads, but they're not being commonly taught or promoted in our system, our education system, or in life in general. And so I learned to integrate these things, these practices and ideas and thought forms, and when I got out of that system, I went on of course I had to go back to work, right? Money is always an issue. That's always part of our life. Nobody gave me anything. I've had to earn it all. And but along the way, I got tied in with a multi-level business that had a support system. This was the powerful self-development system of books, tapes, seminars. I've been to more seminars, hundreds of seminars, workshops, and so forth. I've read hundreds and hundreds of books. I don't know how many. And so I applied all this, and in my business, I eventually got back in as a auto body shop manager in dealerships. That's the niche that I had evolved into eventually. And I applied all this and to a very high level of success. In spite of my past mistakes and my history, I was able to rise myself up to the top of my profession. And so currently I am actually the director of 3 body shop operation in a major dealership network in Central Florida. And that leads me to a little story I want to share. A big part of my job is to hire, like I tell my boss, my main mission is to build the team, to build the teams at each shop, and that's where it's at. If you've got your team, your good people, A-class people at every position, my job's half done. And so a few weeks ago, we were looking for a manager for our Chevrolet body shop. And so I had interviewed a fellow who was highly qualified. And so we were talking. I did the first interview with him, and we were standing outside the Ford body shop. And he said, Les, he said, how do you do it, man? I'll be 79 next month. And it's hard to believe. Didn't even sound real. He said, how do you do it? How do you do all this? I had shared some of my personal life, what I'm doing, and your health and your energy and so forth. And by the way, that's part of what I share in Your Most Amazing Life is health, energy, and longevity. And I'm not a healthcare professional. I'm not licensed in any way. My history is a Faith Healing Church. I delivered my own children at home. I survived some serious illnesses, and I do utilize currently the healthcare system. I do go to the doctors. I have two um, cochlear implants so that my hearing is still really good without the use of hearing aids. But I won't get into a lot. I'm not going to get into a lot of detail about anything right now. Just kind of an overview. But that comes up for me, this story about Anthony, who came for this interview, very qualified. In fact, my boss and I were wondering, well, why is he interested in this job? But he was very eager to take on the job. Eventually, we hired him for the position, and he started about a week ago. And then yesterday, well, over this week, his one of his daughters had developed a serious health condition, and she's in a hospital. And so he was on his way to work yesterday, and he turned around and went back because the doctors wanted to meet with both parents. I'm sure Anthony wouldn't mind me sharing this story with you. And so he didn't make it into work, so I was up there and I filled in for him to manage that body shop at the Chevrolet dealership. And later that day in the evening, Anthony sent me a text picture, and he just had to share this. So what it was is a picture of my card, not my card from my job work, but this is my card for what I'm sharing with you, Your Most Amazing Life. And I had, when Anthony asked me that question, how do you do it, Les? What, and we were talking about a lot of things. And I gave him a quick overview of my philosophy and some of what I do to do what I do still today. And then I handed him my card. I said, here, Anthony, get a chance. You can find everything that I can share with you right here on this patreon.com, Your Most Amazing Life. And so here he told me he had been carrying that card around in his pocket every day since I had given it to him several weeks ago. And when he went into the hospital to see his daughter, and then he left, and then he got the call to come back, and he was coming in and he was going up the steps, and he saw this card face down on the step, and he reached down and picked up the card, and it was my card. And that just really struck him. What are the odds that apparently he had dropped that card when he pulled his phone out of his pocket, probably a call from me, and then was on his way to work, and then came back and happened to find that card. So that was a sign for him, and it gave him some inspiration. It was also a sign for me, because I told him I was sending his daughter loving, healing light, which, by the way, is a very powerful thing to do. That person that you want to send healing, love, and light to could be right next to you, or they could be on the other side of the earth. It's just as effective. It's just as powerful. So I talked to Anthony a little bit. By the way, I've scaled my work week down. I'm working 3 days a week now. Today's Thursday. This is I'm taking Thursdays and Fridays off, so that I can work on my Your Most Amazing Life program. That's deep in my heart. I still interact by phone and by email and by text with my employees. So anyway, I thought I would share that little story with you. There are no coincidences in life. There are no accidents in life. And one of the things that I encourage people to do, that I've learned to do, is notice the synchronicities. Because when you begin to tune in, and this is part of how you live your most amazing life, when you begin to really tune in to the unseen forces, the unseen spirit world, we're always in contact. We have help. We're not alone. And so these messages come in different forms. It could come. You could be watching a movie and to get a message out of that movie. It can come in many, many forms. So you begin to become open to an alert for those messages. I call them synchronicities that come your way. And Anthony saw that as a strong, powerful message that he received. And he called me a little while ago, and that's part of what inspired me to share this little talk with you. So I go on to part of a lot of what I'm doing. This is a practical, usable what I'm sharing with you. That for the everyday person who I mean, you can be wealthy and you still need to be able to learn how to live an amazing life. Money doesn't make it. It's not really money that it's all about. That's we all need money. That's the way our system's been set up. That's part of this slave system that we're part of, and we have to know how to work the money system smartly, and most of us don't know how to do that. I certainly failed at that a number of times. But it's the relationships. It's the loving relationships in life that's the key. And part of it is health. That's one of the things that I really focus in on. You know, I had rheumatic fever when I was 19. I nearly died. I didn't go to the doctors. I stayed at home. My dad and my brothers carried me out of the place where I was living on a homemade stretcher made out of a cot. And I took months to heal from that, to recover from that. My hair fell out, humps grew out of my fingernails, and so anyway, that was one of the things that I had to overcome, one of the health conditions. But overall, I decided when I was recovering from that I would be 100% or I would kill myself trying. And so I was able to recover 100% because I was very healthy before that. So health, energy, and longevity is the key, because without our health, what good is it? You know, I know some people who are just existing. I mean, their health is so poor they really can't do anything. And so it doesn't have to be that way. You know, our bodies are designed just miraculous. It's amazing what our bodies are capable of. So if we take care of our bodies will take care of us. And this is our vehicle for getting around in this world and in this life. But I'm not going to get into the details of that, but I do share a lot of what I have discovered, because that's one of the things that I research and constantly is health, and it's not necessarily found in our healthcare system. You've got to look a little beyond that. And we've got a lot of great, amazing information accessible to us today. You know, years ago we had to refer to books, and then for years I listened to audio tapes in my car mainly, and then we had CDs and things like that. Today we have so much available to us on the internet. I mean, it's just amazing, and a lot of it's free. So you have to be very selective. Again, anything that you take in, even if it resonates with you, it sounds good, it makes sense, but you have to determine for yourself what's real and true for you. You have to own it as your own, through your own process. One of the things I read this morning, speaking of what you can get on the internet, is the truth is learned or never told. Right, the truth is learned, never told. So I can tell you the truth, and you can say, "Oh, I believe that. That's true. I really believe that." But you have to learn that for yourself. Just because I told it to you, or what anyone tells you. So I'm going to end it at that. I didn't want to go on and on here. I just wanted to share these few things with you, these words, because I felt inspired. So I have a lot more to share on my patreon.com/yourmostamazing life, and my subtitle is Make each day an adventure of possibilities. That is the goal for me. And how do we do that when life is throwing so much stuff at it, especially this age right now where um, we're going through this big shift and the energies are just flushing up all the evil, nasty corruption. Um, those of us who really look for it and study that have a pretty good idea how ugly, but everybody's going to see this. All that truth is coming out. There's no stopping it. All the evil, the corruption is beyond most of our imagination. So all that's coming up for us. I don't want to get into that right now, but what I did want to say is that no matter what's going on in the world, that to be able to make every day an adventure of possibilities. That's the goal for us. So this is Les Schmidt. Thank you for listening to me. Have your most amazing life.